So yeah, we had a couple of gigs and it was during the Biennale and it went kind of well and it was actually quite chaotic. There was hundreds of people in here, and then they were like, hey, there's this new space called Ura, you know, and then I kind of got left with it in a way because I kind of lost my freedom over it because it's quite a lot of pressure because it was getting quite popular, especially with like the young Turkish kids and stuff, because it was quite lively time. And yeah, so then I just started like that, and then we had a publication, we did a magazine with it, and then we did the second one, which is that one over there with crosses, and we're getting to the third one now. But that's how things started, and we just started inviting everyone and doing shows and things like that. I think the magazine is a big part of it because it, you know, we send it to these kids in Japan. There's like a whole bunch of kids in Nagoya that are obsessed with English culture, and they're obsessed with Ura and Alteria and all these weird kind of London bands like the Horrors. And probably my family at the beginning, because obviously they kind of helped me out until I could kind of make my own way. And so them, obviously, firstly, but then also my best friend Adam, who lives in London, who's great. We do the magazine with him, and this is a picture of him. He's absolutely crazy. He's the most beautiful man I know, and he's Egyptian. And I think he should be a fashion photographer, but he's very clever, he's an artist. And so we do the magazine with him, so obviously he's a big part. And I've got my assistant Bobby, who I'm totally in love with. When you're strange. Well, I've always been obsessed with obviously Chanel and YSL and Givenchy, always. This is, yeah. But, and that's kind of, those three are the big three. But obviously people like Gareth Pugh, a lot of things, so many. I mean, there's something in everyone that I like. But I would probably say, right, 70s Paris YSL is kind of like my thing. When you're unwanted. I'm not a particularly good kind of mixer in terms of styling. I mean, I could probably never ever be a stylist in those terms because you kind of have to think about every single aspect. So I'm not very good at accessorizing, for example. But I do have quite a, how do you say, maybe straightforward way of thinking. And I like very kind of simple silhouettes and lines and things like that. And I think the more I get older, the more I can spend time thinking about what to wear, because it does take a lot of time. I mean, you can't do the same thing you do in 45 minutes as you can do in 5 minutes. I'm definitely very picky. I can't just go out kind of without like putting a scarf around my neck without thinking about it during the day, even if it's like -10 in New York or something. I mean, I have to get it perfect before I go out. Not perfect doesn't have to be perfect, but just if something doesn't go with something else, I can't be practical about things. I have to really, the whole thing has to make sense, like every minute. When your strange faces come out. Fashion tips. All the cliches, like be natural, obviously, but you know, looking at a lot of images helps. Not necessarily reading any magazines, but a lot of images. Just any sort of whatever you're interested in. Just looking at. So I'm from Turkey, and I was born in Istanbul, and I was born in this wooden house by the sea, which sounds very idyllic, and very, very old house actually. And then I moved to London. I kind of started speaking English kind of around 3, but I know I was writing in English before I wrote in Turkish. But yeah, and then I moved to London and lived there for 12 years, so from a kid onwards till I was about 23. And I moved here about 3 years ago. And opened up a gallery, but yeah, I never met my great-grandmother. I would have liked to though. There's loads of pictures of her in this house in Hungary where she's wearing kimonos, and she's got this kind of almost navy, kind of Victorian wallpaper in the background with all these photographs, and there's just beagles all over the floor, like everywhere, hundreds of them. And so I guess they used to hunt, but they're very cool. There's a lot of cool information about them. But yeah, so I'm Turkish, but I consider myself half British. I'm not good with colours. I kind of like textures, so like lace and kind of leather and maybe kind of see-through stuff with harder lines and Not very good with frills and colour and things like that. Yeah, so lots of crosses, as you can see. That's about the only accessory I wear with kind of rock and roll rings. I probably like more rings. I want a Diamante Chicago Bulls ring, which I love. They look great. And there's my cat. This is my cat.
And if you need me, you know, and I'll always be right. If you ever want.
But now, I think now I'm happy. I have a gallery, but I don't think I want to be a gallerist all my life. We have a publication, and because I'm so passionate about kind of art, fashion, then I probably want to include more fashion in it. A lot of my friends do fashion, and it's a contribution based publication / periodical kind of thing. So I think they've started to send in shoots and stuff, and I'd like to possibly commission more designers rather than artists and writers to do stuff, just so I can have a bit of fun as well.